you hear the people singing the songs of angry men. It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drum. Are we starting? Okay, awesome. That's exactly how I wanted to start it. Anyway, I've listened to so much Glee. I'm in a Glee moment, and then I've gone into Les Mis because I was reminded how good that song that little boy sings, and you know the do 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 just because I am small. Bam bam bam. Dun 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 dun, out 100 feet tall. Dun, dun. Guys, welcome to Helen's Log. This is my podcast. I'm Helen. I have so many logs in my life. I have one right here, which was gifted to us, and I guess I have logs in another way in my body. We're not doing that here today. I'm back from Australia. I've not done this in 6 weeks. Holly is not here. It's me and lovely Rodrigo sitting somewhere I can't see him. It's me, it's you, it's the void. We're gonna do this. We're gonna play the theme tune.
Welcome to Helen's Log. Log as in a diary, not Helen's log as in a tree that has been cut. Oh no. Or a toilet or a flume. Double no. Log as in a synonym for diary. It's Helen's log. Trust her, she knows it's Helen's log. The diary. It's a weekly diary podcast, and it is called Helen's Log.
Welcome back. Welcome back to me. I'm back in London. Guys, I've been in Australia for 4 and a bit weeks and I've landed. And yeah, we had to use the emergency episode last week because you cannot land and go straight into a podcast recording. I'll say it, it's unfeasible. But God knows my belief that it would have been feasible is so high that I was like, guys, I got this. I don't got this. Thank God we had an emergency episode. I don't remember what I said in it because it was recorded in January, I believe, but it's okay. It's okay. We move. I'm back. Do I sound Australian? Do I sound like I have a bit of an accent? I think maybe a little bit. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping it's there. I met so many of you guys. Oh my God, it's so freaking cool going to Australia and meeting people who listen to the log. Oh my goodness. That made my heart swell so much. Thank you so much. Before we get into everything Australian and everything I'm thinking and feeling at the moment and talking about Glee, of course, that you guys, thank you for coming and being the best audiences as always. Like, it was so magical. And Melbourne was, it was special. It was really special. So like, here's what happened. I go to Australia to do my stand-up show that I've already done all around the UK and Ireland and Germany and nowhere else. And then it was so nice, number one, going there with a show that I fucking loved because I was like, I felt like a 4-year-old who'd made up a dance routine and was ready to show it the fuck off. And yeah, of course, sometimes the dance routine doesn't go the way you wanted, but I don't stamp and cry. I just go, oh no, and then I keep going. And I had oh my God. Okay, I need to calm down. I have so much to tell you. Let's start with this. I land in Melbourne, first flight, middle seat. Not ideal, London to Singapore. Not ideal, but I'm fine. I do okay. I watch some films. I fill in my Oscar gaps because that's something I do now. Because now I'm at the age where you sort of take in film art in a different way. Like, I'm not just repeat watching Legally Blonde every other week or 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I have now watched Begonia. Heard of it? It's actually really fucking good. So good. And I watched Sinners. Holy crap. There's something so weird about watching a horror film on a flight in a middle seat. Like, it doesn't make sense, but for some reason it worked because it felt really naughty and really intense, and I loved that. And I get to Singapore, I get my curry puffs. Of course, that's the reason you go to Singapore airport, to get a curry puff. Incredible. Second flight, you guys are going to love this for me, whole row to myself. whole freaking road to myself. And I lay down, and I had like the TV thing on the like window seat so I could like look up at it, and I tilted it down towards me, and I watched a history documentary about colonization, which was a bad choice. It's good for me to learn about it, but you know when you're like, I know we did a number on India, but then you watch it and you go, oh my God, we did a real number. And then you have to land somewhere and you're like, oh my God, I feel like a piece of shit, which I guess I should. And then I go to my hotel and right. So last time I went to Australia, you guys know this, me and Olga Koch were sharing an Airbnb together. But this time I'm in a hotel. And it's like, I'm going to say it. I felt like the most spoiled babe of all time, but because I'm coming into myself, I was like, I deserve this. I fucking deserve this. I think it was like 2 rooms and a full bathroom with a bath. And I had like a full kitchen and a balcony. It was fucking magic. And I was so close to a supermarket. And we all know this. The best joy in anyone's life is to go to a supermarket in a different country and just buy stuff. And that's exactly, oh wait, no, I have to tell you actually. I make it sound like it's so beautiful. The reality was I landed feeling really guilty about colonization again, because look into it if you want, actually not even if you want to, look into it. Shame on us. And then I land and I'm like, I've got energy. I've got a weird amount of energy because I think I'm so excited. And also I had such a nice lie down on the second flight that I was like, okay, check into my hotel. I've got a full kitchen. And then obviously I was like, I'm going to get a full shop in. So I have food in. So I don't have to like worry about that over the next couple of days when I've got like stuff to do. And it's also my birthday the day after I landed or the day after that, one of those days. So I was like, okay, I just need to get some food in. I go to the supermarket, remembering that it's been like, I've been up-ish for like 26 hours, but I'm feeling good. But we're doing one of those log episodes. Sorry, Ollie, of course. I haven't shit in like 26 hours as well because of this, right? Not at all. And then my first proper movement is me walking to the supermarket. And yeah, it's 6 minutes walk. But I'm halfway around the supermarket doing my shop. And I was like, holy fuck. Something not good happening now. Something not good at all happening now. And I just couldn't, like, what I should have done in hindsight is just put my basket down and just go to a toilet and then come back. But I just felt like that wasn't an option. So I stopped my shop at the dairy aisle. And I'm hoping that makes sense for all supermarkets in the entire world. You go in, fruit, veggie, next stop dairy. So you can see how quick it got to the point where I was like, oh no. I then paid for these small selection of items and was like, feeling quite good that I could make it back to the hotel. No, I could not. Because I'm moving and gravity suddenly taking a big part in all of this. Thank God there are toilets at the shout out to the QV, I think that's what it's called, centre in Melbourne, just off Russell. Thank God you were there for me. I fucking, like, how do I say this without sounding like Fat Bastard from Austin Powers? Like, if I ate a baby, I lost the baby. I stand by that. And then, instead of just going back to the supermarket, I just felt so, like, grim. I was like, I'm going to take my fruit, veg, and dairy back to hotel and then return to the supermarket to do the rest of my shop. But I did a shop and that's what really matters. Obviously, I could have told you I just went to a lovely hotel and went to do a shop, but that would be lying and I don't lie here, okay? And then had the best sleep ever, of course. Woke up so early the next day, which is so weird because you think I'd have slept in. Have my birthday, which was just, it's beautiful. Having birthdays there. Like, there's something about the fact that, like, you can't really, because birthdays are embarrassing. We all know that. It's embarrassing to have a birthday. And then in London, the pressure to, like, do something good but don't put pressure on other people. Like, I just feel it so intensely. So there it's like, well, it's just whoever's around. And, like, so when I first went to Australia and it was my birthday, it was like this big gala night thing. And I went there and I watched like Catherine perform and Chloe perform and like Olga perform. And they gave me gifts because obviously I love receiving gifts. Incredibly lots. And obviously I've arrived at the office today, and shout out to Christine who sent me something from Prince Edward Island. And yes, I started reading your letter and decided I'd look at that in the extras because it's going to be too emotional for me. I won't read it all out loud, but just know I have screenshot something and sent it to Alison Spittle, and you know what that is. But anyway, this time I was like, right, people are doing the gala. I'm not doing the gala. I'm not doing this gala. I'm doing a gala in 3 weeks' time. I'm good, right? So I was like, I'm just going to go for dinner. So I was thinking who was around. So I text like Sam and Luke and just like a couple of people. And you always end up with the weirdest fucking group for your birthday. And I fucking loved my group of weirdos. And we had Japanese food and it was really freaking good. And Mark Silcox bought me a cocktail and that was so nice of him. And then just like moseyed on home. It sounds like it was nothing, but it was just really wholesome and really heartwarming. And yeah, okay, I hadn't smoked in a month and then I got a cigarette from Dan Tiernan, but he bought me a crystal for my birthday. So I was like, well, I've got a crystal now. So if I have a cigarette, then I won't want to smoke anymore because I've got a crystal. Turns out it was a crystal about money, about wealth, and not about that. So forget about it. But then I have 3 weeks in Melbourne and I'm basically, you'll know this if you're a patron because I was talking about it last time. Last time I went to Australia, just the headlines, I was in the fucking throes of binge eating disorder to the point where I really didn't do anything because all I wanted to do was be at home and eat and just make myself feel really ill. And I just felt like no one, like in my head, if I was with people, they really didn't want me there. And if I didn't go and hang out with people, they were all thinking I was rude because I wasn't making an effort. So I was just, whatever I did, I felt wrong because I just felt unwell. And it was just a bit of a realization moment for me that I was like, I'm doing this really cool thing that I dreamed of being asked to do from the moment I started stand-up. Because like it's a moment being asked to do Melbourne for you as a British comedian. It's like to be invited to go and put on your show. And I just thought I'd ruined it. So this time felt like such a moment to redo 2 years later, post-recovery, post-gallbladder surgery, post-toilet, post-plane. And I had just the nicest tech in the world. Like, oh my God. I loved her so much. And I love everyone that works at the Greek Centre. They're just so nice. And that's where my show was. And that's where you guys came. And then you guys were all the nicest audience. And then you were really good to them. And then that makes me feel really warm. I got re-addicted to Greek sodas called Epsas again, of course. And I just had really nice shows. And the reviews don't matter, but I had a couple of nice reviews, which was really cool because I don't think I've ever been reviewed before in Australia. So it's nice. It's always nice to feel, particularly in like freelancey jobs, that you're doing better than the last time you did. That might be me being a little bit like, I've got to be doing better. But it's like, oh, cool. Last time I didn't get to do a gala, but this time I got to do a gala. And like last time I didn't get reviewed, but this time I got reviewed. It's nice. But more important than the work stuff, like I hung out with people. I went for dinners, like several times. I ate food, like really good food. I organized stuff for people to do. That's a lie. I organized one thing. I organized my birdwatching day, of course. And it was as fun as I remember it being. If you're in Melbourne and you don't go to Botanical Gardens to go birdwatch, you've thrown your life away. You've thrown the entire thing away because it's fucking special. And we saw, okay, right, this is amazing. I was like, we've got like a big WhatsApp group, of course. And I messaged all the internationals and I was like, birdwatching is happening on this Wednesday. Like, be there or be square. Something fucking awesome like that. Like a really cool text. And obviously that's nerve-wracking because you might get no responses in the big group. Like you might not get any responses. So usually what I do in those messages when I throw something out, I just say like, put an emoji if you're interested. Because then it feels like less pressure for people and for me. So I get lots of bird emojis. So I'm feeling good. And then day of, I do that classic, like, eldest daughter thing. I was like, right, you can either meet us at the Botanical Gardens here at 11, or you can meet outside the hotel at 10, and we will walk there for anyone who wants to walk with me. And obviously I'm like, fuck, I'm going to walk by myself. I'm going to get there and there's going to be no one there. That's always, because people drop out on the day. We had, I'm going to say it, and this might be crazy, 0 dropouts. I think 0 dropouts. It was, I crushed it. Turns out comedians all want to birdwatch. Of course they fucking do. And like, I was standing outside the hotel. Obviously it's like 10:01 and no one's there. And then Olga Koch arrives. Thank fucking God for girlies who are just like, I am fucking here for this. Olga's there. I'm standing on the street with 16 printed worksheets that I have made very specifically for that trip, with a bag full of crayons, thinking, if no one comes, I'm going to fucking lose it. Because the person behind, because I had to get them printed, but I didn't know what to get them printed, so I had to ask the sweet lady at the hotel, but then I had to like email it to them, but then it wasn't working, and then she had to go to the back office to go and get them, and it was a whole to-do, and I just kept telling her, I was like, well, I've got loads of, you understand, I've got loads of people arriving, and I was telling her how excited I was to go bird watching. I was like, oh my God, do you want one of these sheets? Like, you should go do it at the weekend with your friends, and she was just being polite, because obviously she works at the hotel. I don't think she wanted to do it, but then I was like standing outside, and like I gave them a thumbs up as I was walking out the hotel, like, I'm doing it, I'm doing the bird watching, here's all my sheets. And then I'm just standing there for a minute and no one's coming, and I bet all of them behind the reception desk were like, oh bless, oh dear, okay, well, what's happened there is she's pretended she's got friends, and now she's going to stand on the street with all these bird sheets, and then she's going to go hide around a corner. That's what she's going to fucking do. And then Olga arrived, and then Phil Wang arrived, and then Thor arrived, and then we walked together, and then I come around the corner of the Botanical Gardens, and there's like, I'm going to say it, 500 people. No, there was 20, maybe 20. We definitely didn't have enough sheets, which felt quite powerful. Not to have enough sheets felt very, very good. Very, very special day for me. And then this is that you're going to be like, this is not what happens in Australia all the time. I swear it is. We're walking around the Botanical Gardens. I'm obviously immediately not being fun and relaxing because people aren't, they're socializing, but they're not looking for birds. They're being quite loud, which means we won't be able to see the birds. So I'm spending, I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours just being like, shut up, stay with the group, don't toddle off, do not toddle. Like the amount that male comedians toddle off. Is toddle off the right phrase for this? I feel like it is, when they just want to like go wander into a bush, and it's like, don't stay with the group. Stay with the group, because I don't want to be on my phone having to have all of you try and find my location the entire time, right? So it's just a nightmare. Also, I forgot on the walk that I had a call with some famous people, if I'm honest, and I forgot about it, and then I had to do the call whilst walking through the Botanical Gardens, and I was not proud of how that went for me, but I did my best. Forget about that. We were walking around. I managed to get everyone in a group together. We turned a corner, and there was one of those Aussie mans who is like, for anyone who's not from Australia, you'll know who I mean. The people that you picture all Australian men to be. Those like white guys with the big wide brimmed hat, and they talk like this, really slow, really interested in giving you facts. Like the sort of guy that you think refers to his wife as a Sheila, despite the fact her name is Joan, but she's Sheila. We met one of them, and he was asking us about birds because he saw our sheets, and then he just like, oh, did you hear that? I burped. That was awesome. I really hope you guys heard that. He didn't burp. He wouldn't have done that. He gave us the biggest info dump on every bird we saw, to the point where we were like, okay, either he is just super passionate about birds, or he is in charge of birds in the Botanical Gardens. And then he was like walking just in front of us, and then every time we caught up with him, he'd be like, right, so what have we got here? This is a Australasian swamp hen. And then he would just give us like 20 facts about it. We saw birds that weren't on the sheet, and then it was like eating from these flowers. And he was like, you're really lucky to see that. And then everyone's like, oh, Helen, why is it not on the sheet? And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. And then there were some birds on the sheet that weren't going to be in the Botanical Gardens. He said we were very unlikely to see them. And I was like, oh, I just felt a bit judged by him, but I also loved him. And that was so special. I think Botanical Birdwatching Day is my favorite day of all time, only because it feels so wholesome. And I went so wholesome for basically the whole of Melbourne until the last little bit. Like I wasn't a nighttime person, but in general, I'm really not. Like I was the person that just saw all the shows. I saw like 2 shows a day minimum, which is not like me. In general, I find stand-up comedy quite gauche. Like your opinion for 50 minutes being rammed down my throat and then you're going to push it to an hour. Don't you fucking push it over an hour. I'll fucking push you. That's usually my attitude in stand-up comedy. Not this time. Not this time. I went to see so many shows. I went by myself to some. I went with people for some. Shout out you know what? I saw so many good shows, but these are the ones that I can remember very clearly. Amazing comedian called Mish Withrop, who I fucking loved. I loved so much. And she's so nice and she's so special. Can I do a shout out to Lara Ricotte's new show? Is so beautiful, so funny, but so beautiful. It's chaos if you don't go on every level. I finally saw Sam Nicoresti's show. She has made something that's so fucking funny. It's mad. Melanie Bracewell as well. Fucking hilarious. There's a comic that I met and then I saw his show and I think he's new and you would not be able to fucking tell. He's called Alexi Toliopoulos and I laughed so much. And then Emma Holland, it was like a fucking performance. It was like a full show. Weirdly, the name that comes to mind that reminds me of it is Sarah Kane, who's a playwright who I think obviously committed suicide and wrote 448 Psychosis. And I don't know why that comes to mind, but that comes to mind. Emma, I'm sorry, that's what comes to mind for me. And then oh my God, I have to do this too. My tech was like, okay, I think I know something that I love about people, and I'm learning this now. I love people that give a shit. That is my main thing. I do not think I am naturally into people who are like, oh, whatever, I don't care. Oh, it'll be fine, I don't care. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I love people. All I want to do is to work with people who are so passionate. It matters so much that what they're doing is so, so good. And I had a tech. And like, obviously, I'm going to be obsessed with her because she was a teenager and I was a tech when I was a teenager at Fringes. So I know the job. I know the ups and downs of it. And I also know that it takes like, there's a lot of patience and a lot of concentration to be a tech because it's like, you're watching the same show so many times and there's one cue always right at the end or something and you've just got to be there. But also like people are coming in with different energies and there'll be days where it doesn't sell well and there'll be days where it's sold out and it's so exciting when it's sold out. But when it's sold out, the room is bloody fucking boiling and you've still got to be there for hours after that. And when it doesn't sell out, you've got to be like, it's all good. It's all good. Like you're doing emotional support as well. And sometimes you work with people who are just so too cool for school. They're like, oh, whatever. Oh, the show will go up late. Or like, I don't mind about that. Or like, oh, I don't know where the proper, like, and they're just so chill with it. And it's like, oh man, I want you to care because I care. And I was a tech that cared so much. Like it mattered to me that people's shows started on time. It mattered to me that they had a good show and they were happy. And it mattered to me that I did a good job. And I had a tech that it mattered to her. Like, and I knew it mattered to her because she had a new notepad and she wrote out our names of the shows she was doing and all of our cues. And she kept the flyers of the shows she was going to see. And I used to do that. I've got so many ticket stubs from things I saw. And like, it mattered that I like was part of it and I made people happy. And I saw that in her. And I was just watching her thinking, I'm going to see you so much over the years. Like you're going to do something so spectacular. And I just give a shit what you're doing. Just give a shit and care about it. I know that's hard to say, but fuck it. I gave a shit when I worked in catering. I gave so much of a shit when whatever I've done. Like it matters to me. I make you a good coffee and it matters that your toasty is toasted through. Like I cared, and that might not be a good thing all the time, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And that's my 3 weeks in Melbourne. And it was, guys, you know those things where you like, okay, so before you go on holiday, you picture what you're going to be like there. So before I went to Australia, I was like, I'm going to be having these like iced coffees and walking around and like sitting in a garden reading my book. But sometimes you don't actually do them. I fucking did it. I did it. I sat in the garden. I did the extra spots and shows. I socialized and it was so wholesome. And I went to oh my God, turns out I found out what I meant to do in the gym. I figured it out fully. What I meant to do in the gym is go put my phone on the treadmill with my headphones in, go on YouTube, watch whatever Disney vlog I want to watch. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't Disney vlogs when I was there. I was watching old episodes of Girls at the Playboy Mansion because I'm sick. And walk uphill. That's all I want to do. I think it is the nicest exercise. And then you shower and then you feel good for the rest of the day. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, I reckon I'll be doing that. Thank you very much. And I did. And I loved it. I loved it a lot. And then my wholesomeness ended. My wholesomeness ended because I finished my last show in Melbourne and I had finished my last show on a Sunday. On the Monday, I was doing my first TV stand-up spot in Australia. On the Tuesday, I was flying to Sydney. And on the Wednesday, I had the day off in Sydney. And then Thursday, I was back to doing shows. So I had, technically spot. Okay, Monday wasn't a day off because I had to go tech the TV thing and then do the TV show. Tuesday, all I had to do was pack up my room and fly. That's not bad. That's a day off, really, in many ways. And then Wednesday was a full day off. So Monday night, I do my TV spot and I get fucking munted in a way that I haven't since I'm sure September. You'll correct me if I'm wrong. But I was I went to someone called Gin Palace and I got martinis because everyone I was with was ordering martinis and I like to follow sometimes. And I got a vodka martini with a twist. I'm going to say 6 times. And I was I couldn't follow a conversation at one point. I knew I was drunk because I started opening up to people and being emotional, it was not the environment for that. And I don't think anyone else really wanted it. But I was and here's one more other thing that I've discovered about my insides and my soul and my heart and yours. I was being such a messy bitch. And eventually, I don't know whether we left or the place closed. I think the place closed. And they were like, okay, bye now, Poppet. Bye-bye. I toddle out into the street and I'm like, food. And McDonald's is closed. That's the level of time we're at. It's got to be about 3, 4, something like that. And I see this Asian place that's open. And I say Asian places and they're doing every different Asian food in there. And I am so grateful. And I walk in, eyes not quite focused. Obviously, it's a reasonable time in the UK. So I'm on the phone with my sister. And then she adds my dad to the call. I have no idea what I'm saying. And I'm ordering so much mee goreng, just the biggest pot of noodles. And they also had some curry puffs. And turns out that's my love language at the moment. And I am the next day incapable of everything. I am struggling to get to the airport. I've got my bag, but I don't know how it got packed. I'm on the plane, but I feel every breath, I don't know where I am. I am at sea. And I'm this is a new level of hangover that I have not met yet. But I'm so desperate to get back onto my nice daytime routine because I was so sure Wednesday morning I was going to meet Ollie, who edits this. Hi, Ollie. Go for a coffee. And then I was going to go for a nice walk by myself, with my book, do bits and bobs. I wake up in the hotel. So I land, I go straight to bed. And this is a hotel that's very triggering for me because I once walked there naked and woke up pissing in the corridor. You can find that somewhere else if you want to hear that full story. It sounds funny now. obviously horrific whenever I check into that hotel because I'm like, they're gonna know. They're gonna have found that video of me talking about it. I don't know how they're gonna know, but I'm gonna feel like they're gonna know. And then I lose my nice days off. I mean, I do meet Ollie. We have a lovely breakfast and I'm able to talk to him. And then I go for my walk, but I'm in the Sydney Botanical Gardens. I'm looking at a kookaburra in the wild and I'm like, like that's the noise coming out of me. Oh, like I need to not be where other people are. So then I spend my one full day off from about 1 p.m. rotting in this hotel room and watching, well, thank God someone left their Netflix logged in on the TV, the whole of the last season of Love on the Spectrum. It was all I could handle. Thank God there was a Porto across the road that I could toddle over to and get myself a Bondi wrap. Thank God for that. It was... Even thinking about the hangover makes me feel like I want to throw up right now. Like that is... It was horrendous. Even at the show on Thursday, I think I was doing I can't remember now, but like a spot somewhere, like some sort of gala thing. What was it? It was something cool. And I was like, oh my God, like I felt a bit underwater on stage. And then after that show on Thursday, I had to fly to Brisbane Friday morning and I was still feeling a bit off, like weirdly off. But then Brisbane, this is where I'm so proud of myself. And this is so weird because I'm just like talking this through, but I am proud of this. I felt so bad, but I was able to like get to Brisbane and be like, okay, you had a really fun Monday. You still feel really rough from it. But there are things that you know that will feel rough right now, but that will make you feel better. So in Brisbane, I was like, okay, well, they sent me like a link to, they give me like Uber vouchers, right? So I can travel around. And I was like, no, I'm going to walk to the venue. And it was an hour's walk, but there was like a coffee shop on the way. And I was like, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to put my headphones in and walk for an hour. And I'm not supposed to be putting my headphones in all the time at the moment. Because have you guys heard about space? Something I'm just learning about now. I have a tendency to, so obviously if you've seen my show, you know this is in my show, but I finished performing it now so I can talk about this. I refuse to leave my house, to leave my flat, to leave anywhere I am until my headphones are in and there's a podcast or music playing. And then I won't take them out until I'm back at home or I'm actively in conversation with someone else. Like I refuse to have an original thought. Aged 35, I will not have one because if I have a thought, I know it's not gonna be good. I know that because I moved flat and I had no internet for 10 days and I had 5 thoughts and 3 of them were jump, which is a crazy thing to say, but it's what it feels like. But then if you don't have space to think, then you can't like progress and like feel the world. But obviously I need to not think ever. I just list everything I've ever done wrong, which is not healthy. So then I listen to, and then the worst thing is I'm not even distracting myself with like fun pop music necessarily. I'll be distracting myself listening to a history podcast about Cleopatra. And I don't think that's exactly relaxing necessarily. So I'm trying at the moment to like not have my headphones in and just go for a walk and just be with myself. Because if you can't be comfortable with yourself, then that's when you start using these distracting behaviors. And that's where things like smoking and like binge eating and like all of that comes into it. And it's really uncomfortable. But turns out being uncomfortable is you processing things. Do you know this? Do you know that if you are uncomfortable, that means that you're getting to a better place? I wouldn't say every discomfort is that. I don't think me needing to go big toilet in the QV centre was me discomfort that was teaching me anything. But maybe it was. But I wasn't doing that then. That wasn't about that day. That day was about me walking to the powerhouse in Brisbane and just moving my body and getting a bit sweaty and just knowing that the show that night, my hair would be very crinkly, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care, because you guys don't mind if my hair isn't smooth or looking good. Like no one has ever said to me, oh, you could have tried more with your appearance tonight on stage. At a live show, never. I think some people's audiences can be like, oh, they didn't really make much of an effort. But you guys, you're so loving. If I walked on stage and I had my flies undone, I think you'd all be like, babe, it's okay, just up there. And I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. And I just put my flies up. Do my show in Brisbane. And yeah, okay, you shouldn't have favourites. I really like Brisbane. Don't tell. I really like Brisbane so much. I think it's such a special city. And it's so fucking cool. Like before my show, I sat out by the river and watched people fishing. I don't know what for. I think it was crabs, but I wouldn't be able to tell you because they were using a net. But that's the hour I have after my tech before my show. Very, very special. And then Saturday, back to Sydney. I do my solo shows in Sydney, which I fucking loved. Like I love the Comedy Store there so much. And you guys like really packed it out. And it was so good. And then I did my final show in Australia. And no, I didn't. It's not my final show. I did my final solo show. And it's really weird. I think I'll talk about this more in the extras because I don't want to run out of time. But like, obviously, doing a show about binge eating disorders can be really healing, but also maybe like a little bit triggering in a way that it's sort of like maybe you're thinking about it and you've got other people's reactions in your head and whatever. And then I did my last show in Sydney on the Sunday, and everyone's still in Melbourne. Like most of the comics are in Melbourne. So I'm very much by myself in Sydney, which I'm fine with. And did my final show. It's early in the day. And I was like, how do you celebrate finishing a show when you're totally by yourself? Because usually it's like the last night of a festival, or like it's the final night of tour, or you do one big one in London or something and your friends come. Like it's something to like round it up. And I was like, oh, well, this is my first personal show. It's my first show where I felt very vulnerable. It's also the show that I'm proudest of by so many miles. And then I was like, well, I want to celebrate it, but I don't want to drink. So how do you celebrate finishing a show about binge eating disorder? You go for ice cream. I went to this ice cream shop that I went to 4 years ago, I think, when I first went, or 5 years ago when I first went to Australia, and then again 2 years ago. And I went and I ordered the ice cream and I sat outside and I fucking ate it. And I messaged my friend who I worked on the show with, the director, Jet, and I was like, he was like, what are you doing to celebrate? And I was like, I'm eating ice cream. And he went, that's really beautiful. And I was like, yeah, this is the most beautiful thing. Because like, a lot of you know this already, but like, there's a tendency to want to not eat in front of people. And I was like, I'm not going to get this and then like quickly run home, or like just get something from a supermarket and then take it. Like, I'm just going to sit here and just be the person that eats this ice cream by myself. That's how I celebrated finishing my show. So freaking good. So freaking good. And then all the other comics arrived. And Alison Spittle arrived because I hadn't seen her because we were like ships in the night in Melbourne. And then we're all in the hotel in Sydney together. Oh, it's beautiful. And then I have 3 days of just doing gala spots. And I did a TV show there. I don't know if I can tell you about it yet because it comes out so soon. So Australians, I did a thing and I hope you freaking love it. And holy shit, Make That Movie's coming out. The sitcom that me and Lara were in, Sam's show with Aaron Chen and David Hargreaves. I think that comes out at the end of May. I don't want to give you an exact date only because I have a date that I think it is in my head. And then Lara has a different date in her head. So we don't know and neither of us have properly checked yet. But I think it's coming out like so soon. There's so much exciting things happening at the moment. It feels very like it's amazing. And then we have to end this whole Australian story on like the downside of it, which is I was taking such good care of myself, even when I got munted and hungover, even through the tricky moments or like periods and like all like whatever. I just felt good. I felt really good in myself, and I was loving being with people, and all of that was just so magic, to the point where I was like, I deserve good things. I deserve this. I was spending money on meals that I did not have, but I don't give a fuck. And then I was like, I'm paying to sit at the front of economy.
Helen's log.
What's up? You clearly love listening to my voice. Clearly, you're listening to Helen's log, and I'm Helen. But how about you listen to more of my voice? That's right. There's behind the scenes episodes. There's things that we can't talk about on this episode because we don't know who's listening. But you can join us right now on Patreon, patreon.com/helenslog. And for £5 a month, you can access the entire back catalogue of all our extra episodes. At this point, there's over 30 extra episodes. You can get them right now. And I'd love to keep you company more. It really helps us keep this podcast going and supports the whole loggy community. And we'd love to have you as a log on our dam, because in many ways, we're all just beavers trapped in human bodies. Thank you. And I'll see you on Patreon. So usually when I'm on a flight, if I'm in economy in the middle seat, I'm 6'1" and I'm fat, which means when I sit down, my knees touch the seat in front. Like they're like, I get grooves from the elastic thing that goes down there. And I know other people know this struggle, which means that I don't even want to have anything like on my person because I can't put it in that thing, because then I lose a little bit of space even with just one book. But I also don't want to have a bag under the seat in front of me because then I can't stretch my legs out because there's a bag in the way. But I don't want to have it up there because I feel rude asking the person next to me. I am a nightmare. And then I was like, Helen, you are fine. You can pay. It was actually Glenn Moore that said this. You can pay the extra £50 or whatever to upgrade it, because there will be a moment that you were in that sky where you'll be like, I'll pay £200 to not be in this seat right now. I will easily give it. So just have a bit of foresight and pay for it. And look, I find those exit rows quite difficult because I have quite you know what? It's a firm opinion, but it's correct. Petite people shouldn't be able to get the same access to it that people like me have. That it's just there's just a height limitation as far as I see it. Number one, when petite women have it, I don't trust that they have the physical strength or energy to open the emergency exit door. That's something that I stand by saying, and I will say it a million times over. I also think there should be, when we get on the plane, they should be able to look at you. And if they can see your head when you're queuing up down the aisle to come into your seat, if they can see your head clearly above everyone else's, they should go, we've got a special place for you. So I was like, I am getting emergency exit row. Yes, I was next to a petite couple. Was I fine about it? Sure. Did I kind of hope that the first time I paid to get in the front seat that I'd look to my side and there would either be over 6 foot babes just all looking at me like, yeah, we deserve this. Yeah, that would have been perfect situation, but life's not perfect. And I sit down and I'm so over the moon. But here's the problem. I had looked up my flight in advance and I could not pick a seat for the long flight, for the 14-hour Singapore to London. I could only get a long seat. And by the time I check in, and I want to be very clear with this, I was really trying. It said, you can't select a seat now, wait for 48 hours before check-in opens. And I was like, okay, I set an alarm. I woke up at 2 a.m. to go straight on it to get this seat. I was like, in my head, I was like, I'll pay up to 300. I will pay up to 300. It is physically so tough. And I have to go straight into like doing so much over this weekend. I just need to pay for this. there was no options. And I had a middle seat and there was nowhere to move. The flight is fully booked. I'm like, and that is the one I've been assigned. And I was like, okay, I am not giving up without a fight. I have to fight for myself. 14 hours in the middle seat when you're my size is no freaking joke. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get deep vein thrombosis. I don't know what that is, but that's how it felt. And I'm going to die. So on my final day, I went for a coffee with Alison Spittle. She was like, what time's your flight? I was like, oh, it's not until 1, but I am getting there so early. And I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna talk to the check-in person and be like, yeah, take pity on a big girl. Take pity on a big girl and tell me, is there anywhere else I can go? Because even aisle or window gives you a little bit more, just that little bit to be able to kick my legs out. And they just looked at me and went, it's fully booked. And I went, I understand. Thank you for trying. And they were like, you can check with the gate in Singapore. And I went, I will do that. And I get to Singapore and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's no way. This flight is so chock-a-block. There's nothing I can do. And when I walked on that plane, I was like, if I don't say some absolute units in that emergency exit aisle, I am going to be very, very strong in my feelings. And I walked on and they were just tiny dots, all little tiny dots in my emergency exit row. And I looked at them. In my head, it would have been evil. The reality is I smiled at them. Of course I did. But fuck, the middle seat again. I need to remember that I physically cannot do that. There's things you should spend money on and things you shouldn't. And I think I was thinking about it so much, it got into my algorithm because I saw this video of this guy saying, welcome to the airport. Here at the front of the plane, you have rich people. You have thin, rich people. Here at the back of the plane, you have poor, thin people. And in premium economy, you've got the fat, poor people. Something like that. And I was like, yeah, there is so much truth in that. Because in that one step up from economy, that's where you see the units. That one little bit of extra, that's where we're at. But I think I've got too cocky from like flying in the on Ryanair and EasyJet, because they're not always sold out. They're often not fully sold out. And like the air hostesses there, they do take pity on you. They see you sometimes and go, do you want to sit? And I'm like, yeah, I actually really freaking do. And that's that you did a kindness to me and I really appreciate it. Also, I will say this for anyone who's wondering, I am aware if you need a seatbelt extender, you cannot sit in an emergency exit row for some fucking reason. Like the bigger you are, the less you're allowed to sit in emergency exit row. That is bullshit and something we have to look into. But I've heard that. It's never happened to me. Because when I was using a seatbelt extender, and if I ever do again, I was never in the emergency exit row just for fear of it. But I'm hoping the rules change. Also, who's enforcing it? Who's enforcing that? Like the one seatbelt extender, that's not going to do nothing. Like you're fine. This whole seatbelt extender thing is fucking mad, by the way. I now see videos of people like showing people how to ask for a seatbelt extender. For me, you ask whenever. Like you just say, I need a seatbelt extender. And some people buy their own and bring them, but I heard that you're not allowed to do that. But you do that if you want. Do whatever makes you feel the most comfortable to be able to live your life. And there will always be someone looking at you. But remember, sometimes the person looking is me at you because you're petite and you're in what I think is my space. It goes both ways. We're all evil and we should stick to our own. Could you imagine if that's my conclusion of this whole podcast? Stick to your own. After me learning about colonization, that's bad. That is not my conclusion. But I will be wrapping up the episode because my God, I want to do the extras so bad. And you guys, I'm so happy to be back. I landed and I went for ice cream with Nathan and Sunil. And that was so good. And I have to make sure I get through this podcast today because me and my sister are going to go see the squirrels in a park this evening. And we gotta have time to do that. You guys, thank you for listening. May you find the ability to have space in your life. I will see some of you tomorrow in the extras, of course. If you want to see us there, you can join us on patreon.com/helenslog. And until then, may the odds be forever in your favor. I'm desperately trying to think of what song I was singing an hour ago. So I can, was it Do You Hear the People Sing? For heaven's sake, I think it was. Singing the songs of angry men. You can stop listening to it now. It is the music of the people. Give us a rating and review. Who will not be slaves again when the beating of your heart. Thank you. Annoying to leave you halfway through a song, but that's what I'm doing. Goodbye. Guys, it's the first new Loggers list in 6 weeks and things have changed. Things have changed. I don't know how much it's changed, but we're going to find out as we're reading it. And that's wonderful for us. You guys make my world turn around. You were the reason I got to sit at the front of one of the planes. That's very, very special. And you were the reason that next time I will get to sit at the front of all of the planes, because you are the ones that keep me from getting deep vein thrombosis. And I'm very grateful for that. And here are your names of those who are keeping me from it. Aisling McGlinchey, Alex McPugh, Amy Sheppered, Amy Fitzgerald, Anthony Conway, Asa, Bonnie Drough, Catriona Windsor, Charley, Charlie T, Charlotte Weemes, Claire Owen-Jones, Claire Scott, you Claires, Chris S, Daisy Longshaw, Dean Michael, Tim and Dom, David Hunter, Dougie Robertson, Dylan Moorhead, Ellen Watson. Okay, this one is so fun. This person's new, but I can't. Elton Pond? Oh my God. Thank you for being here. What a name. What a name. Oh my God. I would have been so jealous of you at school. Emilie, Emma, Fayt Grady, Gemma, Helen A, Jack Blomfield, James Goulding, Jan, Gemma Anglesea, Jen Aiken, Jessica Allen, Jessica Birch, Jocelyn Hughes, Josie Perkins, Kate Thompson, Catherine, Kelly C, Chloe, Christine Martin. Christine, are you the Christine for Prince Edward Island? We'll talk about this. Okay, Lisa G, Lizzie Fort, Luke Bright, Meg Hamilton, Melissa, Natalie Ford, Neil Redmond, Nikki Stefanoff, Noelle Bucher, Olivia, Peter New, Rachel. Is Natalie Ford new? Natalie Ford, welcome. If you're not, I'm crazy and you're not welcome then. No, you're welcome. Okay, Nat, you're bloody welcome. And then we've got Rochelle Harker, Sadie Cashmore, Sally Galula. I missed some names, of course. We're going to go back. Olivia, Peter New, Rachel Smith, Rebecca Locke, River and Rebecca Locke, you are not forgotten. You are valid. Rochelle Harker, Sadie Cashmore, Sally Galula, Sammy Duke, Sarah Bell, Sarah Deacon, Scarlett Scrimshaw, Serena Painting, Simon Moores, Subi Lynch, Sophie Chivers, happy birthday, of course, Stephanie Catraccia, Stephen Chicken, Tamsin Smith Harding, Tina Lindsay, and Trina McSay. You guys, thank you, and goodbye.